Hi, it's Rich Tehrani in the TMT newsroom. Thanks for watching. Today we have Dan McDuffie, who's with the Wyless Group. How are you, Dan?
I'm good. How are you today, Rich?
Fantastic. Thanks for being on the program. Could you give us an overview of your company, please?
Sure. So Wyless is a global network enabler. We're in the M2M space, and specifically cellular services. We provide really the backbone for companies who are looking to integrate wireless services into their products. We serve it's close to 400 ASPs globally right now with our platform. It's a proprietary platform that's connected to multiple cellular carriers in multiple countries. We have customers in over 50 countries. We were created in 2003 in London, and we really started as what you would say is a data MVNO, so to speak. The market looks at us as a data reseller or data MVNO in the M2M space as a partner to T-Mobile UK. I came into the US market and was asked to join the company in '06 and so really start our US presence, and we started up in late 2006, again as a partner of T-Mobile in the United States. And we are one of T-Mobile's fastest growing wholesale partners. We have also started to really morph into what I call a network enabler rather than a reseller of data. What I mean by network enablement is that major companies who are looking to do M2M applications see themselves as really wanting to focus on their core business and not focus on integrating with the wireless carriers. So we provide all of the backbone services, the billing systems and the hosting services to be able to host a private APN to do M2M applications in the wireless arena.
And how are you seeing the market this year?
It's going great, actually, for us. The M2M encompasses many different verticals. It's probably 8, 10 verticals, and each one of them has sub-verticals in the marketplace. So everything from smart energy to banking, credit card service, credit card processing wirelessly, ATM machines, medical devices, automotive fleet tracking, telemetry, and even some M2M consumer devices now. We have actually seen, there's been some softness in some areas, but those have been taken up very, very quickly by others. So we actually quadrupled our revenue in 2008 in the United States. It's our fastest growing market today, and we're growing faster than ever.
That's great. Now for the future, what do you think we're going to see with M2M in 2010 and beyond?
Really, we see widespread adoption in the M2M area for a number of reasons. Number one is you've got the cost of modules now that are actually coming down significantly. So there was a barrier of entry in what I would consider to be wide-scale M2M adoption because of the module costs. The ecosystem's getting a little bit easier to deal with. It was a very kind of disjointed ecosystem. It's starting to come together a little bit more clearly, along with, especially because of some of the major carriers, the major cellular carriers, doing partnerships and initiatives to make it easier for companies to do M2M services. And there's really a sea change in the climate in the marketplace. This is a lot of this has to do with business innovation. So things like smart grid, and public utilities, and things like energy management in buildings, and it's all really about green energy and smart services, driver safety. All of these initiatives that are happening are really fueling what I consider to be wide-scale M2M adoption during 2010 and going into 2011. So there's been a lot said about how big the market's going to grow, and it really, although it's grown very quickly for us, this massive explosion hasn't really happened yet, and it's still just a burgeoning industry. We really see 2010 and 2011 as breakout years in this business.
And what about the competitive space? What do you see?
Actually, the landscape is great right now. We've seen AT&T and Verizon do major initiatives in the M2M space in the United States. So, as an example, AT&T partnered with a company called Jasper to be able to provide a simplified platform for doing M2M, and Verizon partnered with a division of Qualcomm called Enphase. We have chosen T-Mobile as our partner in the United States, and they've chosen us, and we see very similar synergies between us and T-Mobile. So, and T-Mobile with their 3G network build out and their very aggressive pricing structure has really proven to be one of the leaders in M2M. So we see ourselves in a really good position.
Now, Sprint's been pretty aggressive as well in the space.
Sprint. Well, interestingly, Sprint has had their own focused M2M group that came out of Nextel. That's really focused on the public sector and government and in large organizations. And they are now...
And device OEMs too, right?
Device OEMs. And they're now really starting to kind of enter the wholesale arena a little bit late. But they are doing it. So we see them obviously as both a competitor and potentially a partner as well. So we do see the needs for us to branch it to CDMA, although GSM is the global standard. We've been, because we come from Europe, we've been really GSM-centric. And we're now, by the way, connected to 5 cellular carriers in 4 countries, by the way, and four of them in Europe, and then T-Mobile here in the United States. So from a competitive standpoint, we're really one of the only kind of global / multinational platforms for M2M applications, and that's won us a lot of business. Major medical device companies, major industrial companies that are not just looking to put these products in the United States market. And as soon as you go outside of one market, then the level of complexity of how you deal with...
So you basically are making it a turnkey ecosystem for M2M solutions,
yep.
right?
Application agnostic. We don't really live in the application side of the business at all. We leave the applications to the experts. We really focus on the core infrastructure. And again, if you're a real big company, we have customers like ABB and Medtronic and Honeywell, and these big companies, they're clearly big enough to go directly to wireless carriers themselves.
Sure.
But the level of complexity to hook into multiple carriers in a single kind of global platform is very high, and it's very labor intensive. So it's about TCO, time to market. And we see ourselves as the plumbing between the application and the carrier.
Sure.
The carriers themselves don't want to get into the business that we're
Sure.
in, and that's why you've seen these partnerships like AT&T Jasper and Qualcomm and Verizon. The carriers have recognized that they're the big pipe. They're good at consumer applications. They're good at converged devices, but these very technical, data-intensive, data metric-intensive business is not where they're best fit, and they've set the bar high. Once you enter in that market, you're really you're entering into a telecommunications market. So a company like a Honeywell or an ABB or General Electric don't really want to be in the telecom business. They want to deliver their product wirelessly. So we're really seeing a shift in the market, and we're also seeing a big shift towards consumer applications. And we think that cellular is going to be embedded. It's already in the Kindle as an example, right? So we see that as really in a big breakout in 2010 and 2011 is going to be converged consumer devices that have cellular connections. It's in the PND market today, the TomToms and the Garmins. It's in the Kindle. It's in your car. We see all sorts of devices being connected cellularly in the future, from utilities up to your television set or your all sorts of things.
It's very exciting. Lots of potential for M2M, and I want to thank you again for being on the program.
Thank you.
This was great.
All right. Thanks so much.